Hey Tim, how's it going?
Hey, it's going all right, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. So how's your Thanksgiving?
Cool. Like we talked about last week, Thanksgiving is family for me. Had the family over 5 years ago. I cracked the code on doing a turkey. I'm always afraid that the turkey's going to show up like Christmas vacation, and it goes,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, I
So
never
it
cooked
turned
one.
out great. So yeah, it went good. How's yours? I know
It
you
was
had.
good. Yeah, I had some wild family stuff. Certain people close to me know how crazy it was, and I can fill anyone in who asks. So yeah, it
Okay.
was cool though. It was great. The more the merrier in my family.
Well, old man winter is here, and both figuratively and literally. So I've been out in the market a lot. I go to open houses every week. I see usually about 10 a week, talking to realtors, talking to customers coming in, and there's a lot of fear in the market right now. And fear breeds misconceptions. And so that led to me, I've got a pretty good handle on a lot of the misconceptions buyers have, but I don't know much about the misconceptions that a seller may have. So I'm going to ask my favorite realtor, what are the two biggest misconceptions that sellers have in the market right now?
Cool. So
Oh,
I'll go top of mind. I like to be positive, right?
I
But the
know
news, the news likes to sell the negative.
they do.
So I'm
It's their job.
battling that every day, right? So people come to me that may be pessimistic, whatever. It's my job to keep them optimistic, and they say the market's bad now, or they ask me how the market is. Now, how is the market bad? Because it depends on how you're using it.
Right.
So in your case, right, if you're a buyer and you're trying to get a good price, you're trying to get a good price in a rural area or somewhere in the country, you're
Yep.
probably going to get a good price. So I don't think the market's bad in that case, right? And if you're a seller and you have a great house and you price it accordingly, you're in a good area up here, say I'm in Saratoga County, your house is going to sell fast. I don't think that's bad, right?
No, I
So
don't either. And I think that, so I'm going to rephrase that and put it back at you is that you're feeling a lot of misconceptions from the sellers that the market is bad
if they watch the news,
if
but
they
if they
watch the
actually
news.
look at the data and talk to professionals, I don't see how the market is bad. It's just becoming more balanced, a more real market.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that the perception of the market depends on how you're looking at it. I always use that kaleidoscope, analogy where if you're looking through the little end, all you see is these really bright, pretty colors and designs. But if you turn it around, all you see is
Hmm.
blackness, right? That's how a
Yeah. Yeah.
kaleidoscope works. So I think that it is important that sellers understand that the market isn't bad. And I've heard a lot of industry coaches in our industry say the market's just the market.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's not neither
It's how
good
you
nor
use
bad.
it. It's how you use it daily. You just have to adjust. You can't be, say, looking as a seller, having not the best house, and you're used to getting 30% over asking offers. That's probably not going to happen. You need to be more realistic with the value of your home, which brings me to my second point.
Okay.
Is common misconception is going on Zillow and using a little thing called the Zestimate on your home.
Wow. I got to tell you, we have not, for the viewers out there, we have not scripted this. This
Hmm.
is not scripted. I do not know what Matt was going to say there. And I hadn't thought about that one. But yeah, that's like amazingly true.
Yeah. So it's like, I'll give you an example, right? If
Please.
someone's going to tell you they're going to give you a value on your house and they never stepped in your house, how do they know it's not flooded? There's not fire damage. You didn't make awesome repairs to your house. So I just don't get how an algorithm would give you that. It might give you a certain, range, which is great, tells you what's going on in the market. But I don't think telling a real estate professional, hey, this is my Zestimate, we should go off this. I don't think that's a good decision.
Okay, two things there. So, and again, I'm going to surprise you because you don't know this. Um, Zillow was an iBuyer, what we call an iBuyer in the business. They were going into houses and they're essentially a large volume flipper, right?
Mhm.
And about 10 months ago, they got out of it
Mhm.
because their algorithms, and this is what you just said, their algorithms didn't work and they were losing money on these transactions.
Yep.
They're no longer buying homes. Redfin, another large, discount brokerage, I'll say maybe.
Mhm.
They had iBuyers. They were doing the same thing, and they just recently, in the last couple of months, did massive layoffs in their company and shut down that iBuying experience because their algorithms didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So that, I mean, you just said something and the data backs you up, right?
Yep.
The other thing I would say on that, just from a personal experience, because you know where I live, you've been in my house a lot. You got to come again, because we actually have 8 Christmas trees now in the house.
Nice.
Full Christmas trees. One's right there in my house. But I live on 5.5 acres in Malta, right? If you go on Zillow and try to, that value is not even close, because how do you do that?
Yep.
How do you do that? I have an accessory unit that's attached, that. I have a long driveway. We have a 5-acre plot. It backs up to some Smith. I mean, there's no algorithm in the world that's going to be able to accurately assess that value, in my opinion.
Yeah, I have a couple of properties that are, off market. I'm working with the sellers now, and they have pretty much $1 million views, huge land. They might have additional dwellings. The Zillow's never going to know that, right?
Yeah,
and that's why that.
And I always get that, when an appraisal will come in short, right? And you look at, well, I've got $1 million. That's what you're going to tell me as a seller. That's what you're going to tell me as a seller's agent. And I go, well, here's the appraisal and here's the grid. And I don't know how closely you've ever looked at appraisal, but they have a grid. You know how hard it is to quantify $1 million view?
I know.
They'll give you something.
It's very hypothetical,
Yeah, they'll give you something, but they're not going to give you everything. A busy road, for instance. A busy road, an appraiser, one that's really good, and if he can get the comp site, he's going to downgrade a property because it's nearby or in close proximity to a busy road, as opposed to someone who's on a rural country road.
Yeah, yep. Train tracks.
Zillow's not going to go to that granularity. There's no way. I've seen it time and time again. It's a really good point.
Well, hopefully I answered the 2 misconceptions.
I think you did. I think you did. So, number 1, let's recap. Number 1 misconception for sellers is
saying it's a bad market or generalizing the market.
By the way, I think there's a life lesson there too.
Yeah.
I think there's a life lesson there too. It just is what it is. Your attitude makes a difference. The way you view it makes a difference. And number 2 is
Zestimate. Please don't use.
Please don't use. I love that. Zestimate. Please don't use. All right. Well, I'm Tim Clark from Movement Mortgage. That's Matt Began from Keller Williams with the Scott Varley team. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions, please reach out. Remember to shop local. It always works out better in the end. Have a great day.
Thanks, Tim. You too.